Bill Rhoden, break it down for us. Why should we care about the decline in the number of black coaches hired in the National Football League?
Well, we've been talking about this for so long. I'm starting to care less. I'm starting to almost become
No.
anesthetized to it. Maybe that's my question to you. When you say why should I care, who are we talking about? Are we talking about African Americans? Because if you just talk about African Americans, you should care because this is just sort of a microcosm of unfairness across the workplace, outside of sports.
So that's good. That's good for African Americans that are just walking around and not engaged in sport or anything. So I'm the white person in the local grocery store, and I see a headline that says 1 of 7 coaches hired this season were African American. The rest, one was Muslim and the rest were white. So what?
Yeah. Well, again, and it's sort of like anything else. You could have asked this question, 34 years ago about the drug scourge, heroin, and all that, and you're white. That same white person, let's say same family, mother of 3 or 4, and you hear about this heroin scourge, and you would have said, "Oh, well, that's just black. That's those black people." Lo and behold, 30 years later, you realize it was coming for you too. So I think that if you're this white clerk or whatever the store is, we hire the qualified person. Again, it's this idea of unfairness.
We think it's unfair, and the basis for us thinking it's unfair, largely the numbers of African Americans that are engaged in this game, 70-80% of the players are African American, largely because we know the number of African American assistant and coaches and coordinators alike that aren't getting the jobs, and to some extent, to our limited football knowledge, the quality of the men hired versus the men who aren't hired, right? I mean, is that? I mean, do the percentages make a difference by themselves? I mean, the fact
that they should, just in terms of. I'm just looking in terms of a talent pool. I'm just looking in terms of a talent pool,
right?
And this is unlike maybe other aspects of society where you may not have the same talent pool of, let's say, potential black lawyers, who want to be partners, or
I usually go with nuclear physics, brain surgeons, so something even more complex than that. But I understand your point. I mean, we know there's a vast talent pool of people that could be of black people that could be head coaches. We know that there's no shortage. That the one of the worst alibis that's been used in the space is the pipeline. That there's not a pipeline problem. The spigot just needs to be opened up and everything will be fine. So what numbers are we looking for? I mean, when will we know, and and I hear what you're saying, when will society be a better place? When will it be the case that it can happen to this group of people, so it could happen to you? When do we know we're in the right place?
Let's turn it around. You've been like Joe Frazier, cornering me, pressing me. But I think somebody said, we had this conversation maybe a week or so ago. Somebody that were like, when you have 9 women Supreme Court justices, right. But you look at NFL, right? And you look at defenses. There's not one. I don't think there's one white cornerback, or maybe there's just one white cornerback in the National Football League, and nobody really cares except maybe some white supremacists. But nobody really cares. Why? Because they're getting the job done. They're great, and all that. And I think we may have mentioned this before. I think, Ken, this problem will be solved in the National Football League when you have a black coach who becomes like a Bill Belichick or a Bill Parcells. When a black coach becomes sort of like the Genghis Khan, and just winning multiple, not just one Super Bowl, but winning multiple Super Bowls, like in the next 5 years, winning 4 Super Bowls. That can, and same thing with black quarterback. When Mahomes or somebody like that wins like 4 more Super Bowls, that sort of is when we as black people cross the threshold when we win so much, and it's so debatable, you know what? Yeah, we're going to have our 32 NFL team. The whole defense is going to be black because that's just the way it is. But whenever there's margin, like you said, whenever there's a jump ball, right, we're not going to win. Whenever there's a jump ball. So as soon as, you know, in black coaching, you know, you can say, well, Tony, yeah, he got one here. Mike, yeah, one here. But it's not like the black cornerback or the black linebacker where you say, you know what, it's almost flipped, or in basketball, you know, black anything. You know, I've heard white coaches complain, white parents complain that it's almost become flipped, that when their white son comes into the gym and says, I'm a guard, they get, you know, they laugh at him, right, even the white coaches. They don't get the benefit of the doubt because over the past 30 years, African Americans have performed at such a high level that it's now, it was like black jockeys, you know, back in the 19th century, that if you didn't have black jockeys, you were so I think that, Ken, it's probably the same thing. We are going to have a coach who's going to have to be so damn successful. I'm not just talking about winning more than you lose. I'm talking about a Parcells level, a Bill Walsh level, a Belichick level, who's going to have to break through and become the Joe Louis of coaching. I think, and I'm just talking about sports and particularly NFL, where that's doable.
No, I think you've got it, and I think, I mean, I've been trying to think of what the answer is. You know, when do we know we're there? And I think you've characterized it just right. It's almost we're there when people like you and me don't talk about it anymore. When it is, there's some plateau moment. Everything is moving along smoothly, and we don't have this annual conversation about why weren't any black coaches hired or why was only one hired. Yeah. So, Bill, I appreciate it. Thank you for breaking down for us why we should care about the hiring of African American coaches in the National Football League. You got one final comment?
In 5 Super Bowls, now we're at the 5th Super Bowl, let's say, at a point in time, and like another black coach has led his team to Super Bowl, or the same black coach, you know, or, you know, like there've been 4 black coaches in a row who have won the Super Bowl, you know, and, you know, then it's like, yeah, I mean, then it becomes the norm. That becomes the norm. So yeah, that's what I think we'll know we have arrived.
Bill Rhoden, thank you for breaking it down for us on why we should be concerned about the hiring of African American coaches in the National Football League.
You're welcome, Ken. Thanks for having me.
This hour of local news is made possible by contributions from the Friends of PBS, members of your PBS station. Thank you. If you have comments about Arizona PBS News, please contact us at one of the addresses on your screen. Thank you.